and ball sack.
Lovely tea.
And you can get them spec'd to however you want.
It's pretty good.
Right, I'm going to do that again because I feel this about 10 times now and I forgot to have the mic on the whole time. Hey guys, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. And I don't have a clue what I'm doing. Shit, but very bad. So the reason I'm doing this video now is because we're going to show a bit more of the fab side of what we do. So the fabrication and the metalworking is where Old Bez Fabrications first started, hence the name Fabrications. That doesn't take a genius to work out. It progressed into restoration, paint and body afterwards. So primarily we were just metalwork, fabrication, panel repair, rust repair. So our central hub, which is workshop number 1, is where all the prefabrication and building happens, and where the guys with beards are. So you can't work here unless you've got a beard, by the way. Anyways, so the videos you've seen already would have been through our body shop. So we've done 2 or 3 videos now in our body shop on to the paint restorations. But yeah, we've kind of neglected showing you guys anything from this side. So just wandering down to the workshop now and I'll show you the projects we have in and what we are doing with them. So our workshop isn't massive. We got very small yard space as well. So we take in little projects at a time. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, only 5 in our major fab workshop at the minute. So I'll run you through what's on the ramp first, which is the 1956 Chevrolet Bel Air. You might have seen this over our social media already. So over the past 3 years, we've undertaken a full ground up restoration on this, and it's got a very resto mod approach to it as well. The wheels kind of look like a generic American billet style wheel, but they are actually custom built to our spec. Over in the UK as well. So get in touch with us. We've got a good collab with a wheel builder. So get in touch with us if you want anything. These are our own design wheels. They're called the OBF Moonshines. And they're pretty nice. So they come in different range of finishes and you can get them spec'd to however you want. And they mimic that kind of American racing style, but you know, with our own twist on it. Anyways, so the Bel Air, it's had a full Noval bare metal restoration, paint restoration on it, frame off, chassis, everything's been done. We've rebuilt the 327 motor and it's been cammed, fuel injected, upgraded brakes, suspension, steering, the works. Few resto mod touches to it, so all the upgraded drivetrain, 3-speed auto, fuel injection as well, the upgraded brakes, all the interior has been fully redesigned to like an OEM plus sort of finish, and Chris at Retro Retrims has done all the leather work inside and it is phenomenal. Yeah, so that's that one. I'm sure you've been if you keep up with our social media, you will have seen a lot of that because it's a very prestigious build of ours. And the reason why it's on the ramp now, it shouldn't really be in the fab shop, is we're on road testing stages before delivering it to the customer, and we have a few gremlins we need to wrap up before it goes. Next project I will talk you through is underneath the Bel Air on the ramp. So this one's on our chopping block, our self-built chassis jig. And this is a 1951 Series 1 GMC truck, step side. And this is, we've had this in our midst for a few years now, but it's been in storage for a while we've been collecting bits and, you know, giving the customer a bit of a break for a while. But we've got a bare chassis here. I'll show you through it. It already had a front clip fitted previously, but we've upgraded all the arms, and it's going on air ride, so we're fitting Ridetech shockwaves to it, and it's got Ridetech tubular arms, all the suspension. We're going to go for big brakes in it because under this cover here, I'm not going to uncover it now, but we've got an LT4, which is out of the box, I think around the 700 horsepower mark, which is pretty insane. So that being said, we have finished boxing in the rails on the chassis, original chassis, very straight original chassis. It's in amazing condition, which is very rare. We've designed and laser cut our own rear kick-up setup for the back of the chassis and rear halved it. So that's all in and welded in, and I'll show you our kind of unique cross member design here. And you might as well have spotted that we've got a super special axle in there. So that's a Ford 9-inch but a Pro Stock rear end, rated to 1200 horsepower. So it's going to be easily manage the power plant. At the minute, you'll see we've got our tyre gauges and tyres on there because the owner threw a bit of a spanner in the works and decided that he wants to run 22s. Yes, you heard me, 22 diameter rims, which is huge. And we've hit quite a few issues with just trying to mock these up with 22s because they aren't built for them. So in discussions with the customer in a minute about a way forward with that. But like any other massive custom project, especially the trucks, as the job goes on, and especially for so long, then, you know, people's ideas progress, like an organic evolvement of a project, especially when it goes on for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. What you vision at the start is not going to be what you have at the end, because you would go to car shows, you'd get better ideas, different ideas. Social media nowadays, what you pick up, and Pinterest, and yeah, it's amazing how quickly it will evolve. We've got some serious work ahead of us. Yeah, we've been taking parts orders in, so we've got an air ride system there. That's for a truck coming in soon. Blueprint engine that's just turned up today. TCI automatic transmission and some other parts as well for another truck that's coming in soon. So we seem to be inundated with trucks at the moment, and I don't have a clue what I'm doing. Shit, very bad. Anyway, before I'm carrying babbling on about that, we have a 1965 Ford Galaxy. So it's a right-hand drive UK model, genuine UK registered model. It's extremely rare and a pain in the ass. So the 65 you can't get panels for, especially the UK registered versions as well. They're slightly different for some reason. This has kind of gone from a few shops, and it's quite a daunting project. So it's just kind of been shipped around a bit for the past few years, and now it's landing on our laps. So we've decided we'll take it on for the customer, and it's just a huge metalwork undertaking. So you can't get panels for this, so we are shaping everything as we go. So door skins, flush door handles, lower quarters, rear quarters. The other quarter panel has had a huge amount of damage. Rear deck panel, boot lid, rear valance, front wings. The only thing we haven't touched, and I don't think we have to touch, is the bonnet. Apart from that, she's fucked. We're nearing the end of getting all of our panel work done. Not done, that's the wrong word. Let's say mocked up and tacked in place. So this rear end had, it looked to me like a tree or something had fallen down on it. So we got the panels mocked up, made, put in place. A couple of panels from donor cars we've managed to incorporate, fettle, wheel and get into place. But everything was still not looking right. So we had a lot of sag on this end of the car. Once we got our laser line put across the swage lines, it uncovered a whole amount of horrors. So we've been tackling that as we go. And as you can see, everything is just tacked in place. So with panel work, we tend to TIG weld it as much as possible. So it's much easier to control warpage and distortion and planish out as well. So MIG goes a bit hard, brittle, and by the time you've ground it back, it can be thin if you haven't got the right penetration areas, and you get all sorts of problems, porosity, cracks if you're not careful. So TIG 100% for exterior panel work all the way. This is tacked. We usually tack in about inch increments, especially on panels like this, because they are huge. The rear quarter panels are past my arm span. I mean, my arm span isn't great, but take my word for it, they are bloody huge. Anyway, that's a full metalworking project. It is huge. So this has kind of taken up most of the workshop at the moment. Here is a Series 1 Jaguar E-Type. It's a 2+2 model. So obviously everyone goes for the drop head coupes, as they are the more popular variants of the E-Type, shall we say. The customer picked this up, fell in love with it. We stripped it back and found that it was a shower of shit underneath all the levels of bog. Very bad. So this one we've been undergoing for about 4 years, but it's been in storage for a couple of years due to personal reasons for the customer. So we've kickstarted this again. This is going to be a Novel classic car paint renovation system on this one as well. So as you can see, this isn't red oxide. This is the Novel anti-corrosion metalworking primer. So we've had this shell reblasted again, and it's gone into this primer, and then after 48 hours, then after it's cured, then it's you can metalwork it. So you can panel beat it, planish it, and weld through it as well. So it has weld through properties. It's really, really good stuff. You can TIG weld through it as well. So at the moment we are onto gapping everything up. So it's had a new door, new floors, inner and outer seals, rear quarters, boot lid, rear belly pan, everything. The only thing we haven't replaced is the bulkhead and the roof. Everything else has been replaced. So with all the amount of metal work and including new doors, front panels, everything like that, the doors need a lot of work and fettling to fit. So that's what we're on at the moment. And it takes a lot of time, but this is going to be ready to go into the body shop very soon. Right, the last in our fab shop is the jewel we've been working on for a few years now. This is potentially and hopefully going to be a seamer build. And ball sack. Right, I'm going to do that again because I feel this about 10 times now and I forgot to have the mic on the whole time. Anyway. Behind me is the next project I'm going to talk you through, which is a 1956 GMC stepside truck. Arguably our biggest project to date in hours-wise, time and cost as well. This succeeds the Auto Finish truck and any other build we've done so far. So this actually came to us and it had been dressed up in a Chevy suit. And then basically the new customer wanted to revert it back to GMC. So if you've owned a GMC truck, especially this era, you'll know how difficult that actually is, sourcing all the original GMC parts again. These are known for their front end, the 56s, because it's got the huge chrome front grille, the moustache, and the big billet overriders. It's the deluxe cab as well, so it's a very sought after version with the big back window. And what an amazing truck it is. So you can see it's far from original. We've put the old bone stamp on it already, so this has had a full new chassis built by us. Engine, drivetrain, everything has been custom built by us in-house. Nothing has been left untouched. I could get lost for days talking you through all the modifications and all the tweaks we've done, but there's so many I've kind of forgotten anyways. So I'm going to pass you over to Nathan, who's going to talk you through a bit more of the refinements we've been doing in a bit more detail, as he's been doing most of the fabrication work on it as well. So yes, and I don't have a clue what I'm doing.
So get to see me for the first time. Right, what should we start with? So Steve's running you through the moonshines we did on the Bel Air. These are the slightly more street rod version with the exposed hardware. We've gone for a full big Wilwood brake kit on this one. I think they're 14-inch rotors, and I think that's a square setup. So hopefully those are going to do the job on this thing. They certainly fill the wheels well enough. It's a bit difficult to tell because the fenders aren't on it, but they do practically disappear up in there. There's a few subtle alterations to the way they mount up and match with the cab, but we'll probably go through that in a bit more depth when it's all back together. We go into the bed. Probably one of the busiest spaces going on this thing. We've got everything from fuel tank made for the space, 2 airflow tanks, compressor mounts, adapted, what was it, the anti-roll bar was adapted to suit in there. Can't see those either at the moment, but I'm sure we'll get those out at some point.
Talk us through the actual pickup bed itself, Nathan.
So what, the framework? We've got
the framework and the wood.
So
I know you've lost so many hours.
well, hours of sleep lost in it, yeah, definitely. So it's a split bed. The front section is on a separate frame, which will bolt in and out independently to the rest. The ribs that go down the middle were, believe it or not, black mill scale mild steel when we first got them in. They've been polished to death for something we think is quite unique, quite special. To go with that is the frame, which holds the rear section on gas struts with, again, custom hinges, mounts, everything. Leaving enough tolerance to allow for the wood swell and all those sorts of things taken into account.
It looks so good. There's so much detail just gone into the way the wood sits on the frame, and we didn't want a generic kind of box frame which everyone would do. We put so much thought into this, and it really shows.
Fuel cell worked out to be about 80 to 85 litres, hopefully, but we'll check that at the end. It does go underneath the air tanks, so it's all custom made and baffled in aluminium with a cage to support it all. So we've got a full in-tank filter and pump setup from Aeromotive.
Good loot.
Fuel sender and a lovely billet, Holly equipped filler. All just brings it together with our own design into the cage work. These flow air tanks, amazing bits of kit. They mounted in all orientations and they look great. The billet ends on them just look fantastic. We've seen some great versions and paint jobs on them over the last year or so. Tailgate and rear end panel. Again, end panel, tailgate's been modified. Roll pan's been modified. Everything is it's pretty good. So the biggest difference between one of these and a standard cab would be the tunnel. It was probably one of the first big jobs I tackled with the cab was cutting the tunnel in, because it's been slammed so far. The engine and gearbox has come up into the cab. Of course, the original one didn't cut it, so it's got a custom tunnel in there which goes all the way through. Can't see, we've got lots of
crap.
bit of storage space in there at the moment. Give these as well. So the seat.
Sorry, I'm just like diverting and showing them the badass exhaust coming through the cab, as we've never seen that done before. So yeah, we thought we'd do it.
The dash. Now, the dash we could go on for hours because there's a lot of hours in it. But that's been modified and shaped and accommodates all the vintage aircon system that we've got going in there. We've got billet vents going in there. Cup holders, which we absolutely love. Everything, yeah, it's going to be great.
Nathan actually had to the glove box.
Yeah.
Nathan had to reskin the glove box. We had a chrome one, which is absolutely dog shit.
Oh, and it was dented and it was flaky, and I'm glad I took it off anyway because we found out it was rusty on the inside anyhow. But this is now, instead of having any sort of lock or fixings on there, just
it's the little
push
things.
open, push shut. Nice little latch in there.
Kind of looks like a bit of a face. Now I've said that, we can't unsee it, so we'll change that.
Just cut it all out and start again. Onto the visor. Now, as you find with most things in metalwork and old American stuff, is things don't tend to fit too well when you get them as reproductions. So believe it or not, that's had about 20 to 25 mil taken out of the middle of it. Ends have been reshaped to actually fit the contours of the cab, and actually make it fit and look right rather than just being screwed in place and not really thought about. So
yeah,
hopefully
probably only 56 you'll see with a visor that fits this well.
yeah, so by the time it goes through the body shop, it'll be should be pretty nice. I'm pretty pleased with how that's fitted up. We do have some lovely all-American billet hinges. These are like just liquid. They're just so smooth, so nice.
Absolutely game changer.
Yeah, compared to the old spring and hinge setup, it's it's a world of difference. It's worth the investment, especially when you spend so much time and money on building something nice. It's having the hinges and the shutting and closing of everything is just what makes a world of difference.
When you're using the original hinges, then you'll spend so much time getting everything gapped up. By the time you've opened the bonnet a few times, then the gaps would have changed and they would sag and bend, and you'd open the bonnet wonky all the time. So let's talk a bit more about the front end. Just not too much, just briefly, just a bit of the spec we've got here. So you can see it's all stripped apart because we're actually making a new front mount system here for the top arms to make the adjusting of the camber and caster a lot easier and a lot more refined. But yeah, we've got the 6-pot wheelwoods on the front, again 14-inch rotors and Rytec shockwave airbags. We tend to go for the Rytec shockwaves just because it's an all-in-one bag. They're built for the trucks, adjustable dampening, and the ride is absolutely phenomenal, and you get the height you need out of it. Simples.
So the lower arms have been modified to accommodate those because they wouldn't fit in the space with the original arms and the original mounting system that came with the, what is it? It's a Heights kit, isn't it?
Yeah, Heights kit.
So yeah, there's been a few tweaks because it's a little lower than a normal kit would be fitted. So again, with doing that, it has a knock-on effect on everything. So
yeah, getting stuff down on the floor. A lot of people think it's easy and cheap to do on our trucks, but to do it right,
if you don't care,
yeah, if you don't care, it's a piece of piss, and it'll cost you a pack of peanuts. But
or so they think.
Yeah, to do this properly, it's an awful lot of work. You can see the kick-ups we put into the chassis. Bump steer correction kit on there by QA1 as well. Nathan's had to fabricate a complete new set of headers on there, just to, one, look amazing, and two, clear everything. And they're using the Ultimate Headers flanges, cast flanges, and we do sell kits of those if you're interested. But that's about all we're going to give you for now on this truck. Like I say, we do want to do a more in-depth video in all of our projects at some point. So that's wrapped up everything we've kind of got in the fabrication and build side of the business at the moment. We have got a few more projects to talk about next door in our finishing bay and in the body shop, but we're not going to go into detail with that yet. So yeah, 5 major projects in at the moment. We have a couple of smaller projects out in the yard as well. If you'd like to know more about any of these projects in here, then please comment. Remember to like and subscribe and all that jazz. But please comment, let us know what you want to see more of from us, whether you want to see us doing a bit more of the work or want to know a bit more of each job individually, then yeah, we're happy to do it, but we need a bit of feedback from you guys and see what you're enjoying and what we're doing wrong. So yeah, like, subscribe, share away.